What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hold on, I look like a little bit of a bum. Give me one sec. Alright, that is hopefully better. Anyway, what's going on, guys? I hope you've been well, safe, healthy in these crazy times. In case you don't know me, in case this is the first video you're seeing of mine, my name's Tyler. I'm just a normal guy, no law enforcement, no military experience whatsoever. I just care about things like gear and self-defense. Although since ammo is so pricey right now, like I can find it, it's just more money than I want to pay for at the moment. And I don't really want to go through all the ammo that I've saved up. You might see a little less range footage. In fact, you might see me reusing some old range footage, and if you do, if you recognize that, I apologize, just kind of doing what I gotta do. But I will get out there every once in a while, and I might film some dry fire stuff for you guys if you're interested. But for now, we're gonna focus a little bit more on the gear. Today, we're gonna be talking about this 511 Braxton Jacket. So this is sort of a mid-weight jacket. I'm gonna put a screenshot of the website and the specs up here as well, just because I know midweight, lightweight, heavyweight, that kind of means different things to different people. But I would consider this kind of a middleweight jacket. It is water resistant, not necessarily waterproof, and I wouldn't consider this a winter jacket, but it's kind of a good everyday or moderate temperature jacket. For perspective, I live in Northern California, and I know if you don't live here, if you've never been, you probably think of California as bright and sunny all the time, and there are definitely places where that's true, but where I live it gets from like 115 in the summer all the way down to like 30 in the winter. I don't normally feel like I am cold enough to necessitate like a really big insulated jacket or anything like that, but something like this works really well, where if I needed to, I could layer this up with something else underneath or on top, and either way, when I'm indoors, I'm not usually wearing a jacket. I'd normally be taking this off anyway, so having just one kind of versatile setup makes a lot of sense for me. So let's talk about the look and or fit of this jacket. I think this looks pretty normal. If you get it in black, I think it only comes in two colors, like black, and then they have a color called grenade, which is like a kind of grayish green. But especially in black, I think this looks pretty normal, not flashy at all. It does kind of have a unique pocket layout, but nothing that would really call attention to you. You'd have to be like really looking at the jacket to notice that kind of stuff. As far as the fit goes, it's very square cut. What I mean by that is you look at like the shoulder, it kind of comes out and drops straight down. It's not really rounded around your shoulder. So as long as you have a jacket that fits you properly, that's not an issue. But if it's a little bit too big or too small, that's gonna look kind of funny. Also, when it comes to the cut, it is very square. So like from the armpit, it does drop straight down. It's not tapered toward the waist at all. I understand why they do that. I think that it fits a vast majority of body types better than if you had that taper. But I'd at least like to see the option for the taper. I think that if you take care of yourself and you're in pretty decent shape, it looks better having a little bit of taper to it. One really important thing here is the sizing. So 5'11 stuff, and just in general, I tend to wear a size large. For perspective, I'm like 5'11", 190-ish. But yeah, I normally wear a size large in tops. And for this one, I'm really glad I had a chance to try it on first, because this fits, I've got to say, at least a full size bigger. So this is a size medium on me. It's one of those things where, like I said, if you can't get into the store, try it on, or if you're ordering online, go ahead and do that, but maybe consider the possibility, or consider it a possibility you might have to exchange it later on, just because the sizing is a little bit weird. I'd encourage you to order a size down, and if you do, and it's a little bit snug, it's not the end of the world, because this is made out of a combination of polyester and elastane. And elastane gives it a pretty good stretch. Like, I don't know how well I can demonstrate this, but I mean, I have like full range, both arms, I can wave them around, and it's just fine. Going on to the features. Like I mentioned, this is considered water resistant, water repellent, not necessarily waterproof. So the water repellency comes from a coating on this polyester stuff. So that does mean that over time, with enough wear and enough washes especially, it's going to lose some of that repellency. That said, polyester, if you wanted to recoat it with something like, I don't know, Scotch Guard. I don't know that Scotch Guard is the thing to use on your clothes, but maybe do some research if you're going that route. My point is just that if you did ever lose that water repellency, you wanted to bring it back, you could just recoat your jacket and it would be totally fine. But right off the bat, like when I first got this, I washed it and it was still water repellent after that, so I'm not complaining. Another really cool thing is if you look at the collar here, you notice there's a zipper that goes all the way around. Here's a zipper right there. And it's actually, important note, it tucks in all the way in there where the zipper's not going to be flopping around. But that zipper is for a hideaway hood. I'm not going to take mine out because it's kind of a pain to put back in. You know, I have to fold it up a certain way. But I'll throw a picture from the website up on here. It even has, you can see these drawstrings are for that hood. So you could pop the hood out of the collar, pull it over your head, draw it tight if you want to do that. But the hood itself is just fully polyester, so it is actually waterproof, which I thought was kind of a nice touch in case you end up in the rain. Also, it's worth mentioning that with that hood packed in here, the collar doesn't feel at all like it's overstuffed or it's like kind of puffing out or anything like that. So as long as you do put this away properly, I think it just feels like a normal collar. One thing I will say though that I didn't like is these drawstrings. I get why they have to come out here just so they never get lost inside of this collar. But for me, to be honest, I'm not really going to be using the hood much, if at all. And for like the one time I use the hood, it'll be nice to have these drawstrings right there. But every other time, it's kind of just weird having these dangly bits here. Really small thing, to me, kind of matters. Going on to the sleeves. So, like I said, pretty square cut. Even if you're jacked, you'll be fine. You'll still fit in this. I wanted to point out that they do have the Velcro patch thing here. I don't think that's super noticeable, but I don't love that literally everybody does this. I get it. Some guys want to run a patch on their jacket. That's fine. It's just not for me. And I wish they at least had an option for you to not have this part. Aside from that, on the sleeves, you do have these rubber cuff tabs here. So basically, it allows you to cuff your sleeves a little bit tighter. And what's nice is that there's a little bit of fabric in the middle there, right here, where that cuff crosses over. It is actually a little bit thinner. So when you adjust that, make it a little bit smaller, it folds in on itself nicely rather than just kind of clumping up there. That's nice if it is really cold or if it's really windy, but also for me or for you, like I wear a watch most of the time. Something I don't really like about having long sleeves or wearing a jacket is if it covers the watch face. I always have to do one of these where I, you know, flip my watch over and then pull my sleeve up. Really small thing, but again, it's these small things that matter. I guess also worth mentioning that these rubber cuff things, they do have a big hole in the rubber cuff itself right here. So I could imagine if you really beat this up, you might break it. I don't know why they wouldn't have just gone full rubber all the way across. Kind of a silly choice to me, but I guess it looks cool. In fact, you know what that's kind of like, having that little hole there? That's kind of like when you have a car that has like a hood scoop or hood vents, and they're blocked off, like they're fully blocked off with just a piece of plastic. They're just there to look cool, but they don't do anything. That's exactly what that hole is right there. On to the main zipper here. This is a two-way zipper actually, so you zip it up for when you want to look like you're wearing a cape. I don't actually know what this is for, guys. I've had jackets like this before. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I've just never been able to figure out, or nobody's told me. So if you know, let me know in the comments. But just so you know, this is a two-way zipper for, you know, when you need to have a cape to fight crime and stuff. As for the pockets, so what we have here is on the top, we have a pocket on each side, or at least it looks like one pocket on each side, but you do have actually kind of this Velcro quick access side pocket on either side, so they are symmetrical, and they go all the way in to like where my armpit is. So there's plenty of space in there. But they also have on the top here a horizontal zippered pocket right there. So there is a zipper that comes across, and there is this little flap that actually hangs over when stuff is in there. I really like this setup because it is a separate compartment from the horizontal part. So like, let's say if I'm outside, what I might do is drop my phone into this section here and just pull that flap over. So if I need to grab my phone, I can get to it pretty quickly, and it's pretty secure. I don't like having stuff in a sideways Velcro pocket like that where it might fall out, especially considering how expensive phones are nowadays. And then, you know, I could always use this other side for like, I don't know if I want to put my wallet in there or maybe the girlfriend's phone, whatever else. It's just nice having the option for a very secure like top loading pocket or very easy to access horizontal pocket if you need it. The lower pockets are pretty normal, just, you know, front pockets where you keep your hands if you're cold. They have a zip closure as these pockets normally would. But the interesting thing about this is there is an interior pass-through. It's a zippered pass-through. So normally, if that interior pass-through is closed, if it's zipped up, this is just a normal pocket, right? You can put stuff in there, no problem. You can put your hands in there, no problem. But for me, I thought this was a silly idea when I first bought this, but I kind of see the merit to it. So on my left side here, my weak hand, I actually have that pass-through open right now. And well, normally, you know, the draw would look like this, where I would grab my garment, both layers with one hand, pull up, clear, and then, you know, go to work. Alternatively, what you could do is, if you're chilling with your hands in your pockets, you could have that weak hand already in that pass-through, or through that pass-through, grabbing onto your first layer garment, so my t-shirt in this case. And it's kind of like the cheater draw, like Scott Jedlinski, Modern Samurai. He talks about doing one of these where you have your hands out in front of you and that lower hand is already cheating your garment a little bit. It's kind of like that, where I have my weak hand in that pass-through, grabbing my t-shirt underneath, right? So that when I do pull up from here, if I do pull up, I can clear, access, and go to work. I don't know that that's any faster or any more reliable than just doing the normal grab and go, but it's cool that you have the option to do that if ever you felt like doing it. For me, I just leave this pass-through open in case my hands happen to be in my pockets. I needed access to the gun. Now let's talk about value. So this sells normally for about $150 from 511's website or in their stores. I picked this up during the President's Day sale recently for 20% off, so I think that's $120 before tax. Before I got this though, before I saw this, I was considering getting something like this one. I'll throw it up on the screen, from Triple Lot. Triple Lot is another company that I can highly recommend. Their stuff is really high quality. The only thing is that they're very expensive. Like, they're designed in California. They have a shop in San Francisco for whatever reason, and I'm sure that those two things drive up their prices significantly. You can see a fairly comparable jacket from them is going to cost an entire extra $100, and I don't actually think that the quality is that much better, nor is the feature set. It's going to be about the same. The main difference you might get from a company like Triple Lot is that their fit is a little bit different. It's a little bit more modern, or like tapered, if you will. That said, it would still be cheaper to get something like this and get it altered than it would be to go with Triple Lot. So in my case, I don't know that I'm actually going to alter this, but just getting this at this price point, especially when it's on sale, I think that's pretty good value. It is a little bit pricey. Like, I'm not used to spending that much money on clothes. I don't buy clothes that often, but it fits a very precise need in my case for a specific time of the year, just to be able to have one thing that blends in well, works into my wardrobe just fine. This kind of thing, you know, when we talk about value or budget, it obviously depends a lot on your own budget and your own needs, but I will say, if it kind of fits both of those things for you, I could definitely highly recommend this jacket. So in conclusion, if you're looking for a kind of mid-weight jacket with plenty of pockets and easy access to your weapon, I think this might be for you. Aside from that, I do have a new video coming out fairly soon after this one about a new optic that I'm really excited to test and try out. And if you have any other ideas for future videos, please do let me know. That's kind of the hardest thing for me right now, is coming up with ideas that are entertaining and informative, that aren't really centered around the range, because like I said, it's kind of tough to get out there right now. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate your time, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.